Hey everyone, and welcome to day 17 of my horror movie review marathon, and today I will be talking to you guys about Quarantine. Jennifer Carpenter stars in what looks like a Wreck ripoff in Quarantine. It was actually remade into this. She plays a reporter who is at first shadowing a fire department until the night turns into a fight for survival as a virus sweeps in on one apartment complex and grabs people by the throat. Literally. I first saw this movie when it first came out because it wasn't marketed in a normal way. Basically, the only thing that drew me in was the scene where they show the main chick being dragged away by something that you couldn't see. It was from a night vision perspective. I thought that it was bad on their part because it felt like it was almost giving away, important plot points here. I just considered it to be a huge spoiler, and I guess it's the only way, especially for horror movies nowadays, to show off the scariest parts, but then you're not as scared when you actually see the movie. Was pretty much convinced that there wasn't going to be anything else remotely scary to see in this movie. I was wrong. Having seen this movie before Wreck, I didn't know that a rabies virus so intense could cause all of this mayhem to happen. It just reminded me of the movies Outbreak and 28 Days Later. I liked how this movie was shot camcorder style. I know I've mentioned this before, but actually, sometimes it can get effective. It seems like a lot of horror movies nowadays are doing that. You have like VHS, Paranormal Activity, just a whole bunch of other movies. And I think it makes it more realistic looking, and you don't really have any soundtrack in this movie. It's a lot of just background noises and just creepy things that just sound so real, like they're right in front of you. The horror is intense. Those parts of the movie just had me gripping my seat the entire time. I think as soon as I saw one of the infected people just sort of standing around, just very still, while someone would be like, "Oh, hey, I'm here, trying to help you," maybe something bad was gonna happen. And you could even hear them like breathing, by the look of them. I'd run for the hills. Unfortunately, my screams of, "Don't you go over there, man," were not heard through the TV screen. The story seemed pretty basic, and I would have to say that the acting wasn't that bad. Surprisingly, Jennifer Carpenter really owned her role in this movie, playing a reporter one minute and a scared young woman the next. Trying not to panic every 5 minutes, unlike some people. I don't know why I haven't really seen her in a lot of horror movies. I think she does a pretty decent job. Was The Exorcism of Emily Rose enough for her? The other actors were okay too. And I only recognized a couple of them who have been seen in other horror movies in the past. You've got Joey King, who was recently in The Conjuring, and Jonathan Schaech, who was in the 2008 Prom Night, which came out, I think, before this movie. It was either before or after this movie came out. He also starred in Takers with Jay Hernandez, who's also in this movie. He plays a firefighter. Boy, him and Columbus Short were looking fine in those uniforms. This wasn't the most terrifying movie I've ever seen, and I kept repeating the same thing. These suckers just won't die. I think they are much worse than zombies, personally. They're nothing like zombies at all, but they kind of have those qualities of being zombies, or like those things from 28 Days Later, as I mentioned before. And I never really questioned what I was going to see next, because I knew that as soon as somebody was going to get hurt, something was going to go down, and things just going to pop up right about now. Oh my god! Her face just got smashed in! That's basically the reaction I had from watching this movie at one point. I would have screamed more from watching every little bit of infected people running at the camera or someone getting attacked, but it just felt too repetitive, and it left me kind of bored at times. I was just wondering, is there anything new gonna happen? Like, anything original here? Overall, the movie is pretty terrifying, but I just don't think it stands out as its own type of movie. compared to the other ones I mentioned before. Would I recommend this? Yes, if you are a fan of Rec, definitely see this. If you have seen Quarantine, let me know in the comments what you guys thought about it, and how does it compare to Rec? Come back tomorrow for my next horror movie review. As always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates coming every week for Joe Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys later.